So today I want to talk about the 50mm f1.4 Sony lens, the Nifty 50. Yeah, right, kitty? Okay. Let's go over here. This is a really great lens. This was one of my first lenses when I first started with a DSLR. I didn't go with a kit lens, I bought a 50, Nifty 50, 1.4. This is a solid lens, metal mount, comes with a lens hood, 55mm filter thread, extends ever so slightly as it's focusing. Now I use this lens mostly in the studio for various things. If I need a really shallow depth of field. Once in a while I'll still take this lens outside with me if I need a really big aperture, if I'm going to be shooting at night and I need a lot of light let in. But for the most part, this lens stays in the studio. It can produce some really great, really sharp images. Having a lens this size on your DSLR is also nice, walking around with it, because you're kind of incognito. If you have a giant 70-200 2.8 or a 24-70 2.8 on it, that's a huge lens. People tend to look at you and think you're a professional. This one you can wander around, get a little bit less attention. The focus speed of this lens is pretty good. It doesn't have a built-in motor, so it uses the camera's motor, but still pretty good. It uses the camera's built-in motor to focus. So now let's go look at a few test shots I've taken over the last couple of years with the Sony 50mm f1.4. So now let's go over a few sample images that I've taken over the past few years with the 50mm f1.4 lens. This really is a great lens. It's a must-have lens in a photographer's bag, just because it's really versatile. It's great for portraits, great for walking around, great in low light. Here's a picture I took at the beach, sunset, f22. I was trying to get good depth of field, everything in focus. This was a test to kind of show the bokeh at f1.4, so slightly elliptical, but pretty good. Night shot, picks up colors really well. Just showing shallow depth of field. That's one thing to note with this lens. Depth of field is so shallow, or it can be so shallow. It's a tool to use. But if you really want the depth of field, you put it at 1.4 and there's a sliver that's in focus and everything else blows out nicely. Focus there, and by an inch beyond focal point, it's already blurring out. Example of using shallow depth of field to my advantage. Focus point, probably by here, it's totally blurred. Example of a really simple kind of studio shot. Ultra contrasty kind of shot I was experimenting with. 2.8, you can see it's very sharp. Picture of myself in the studio. My objective was to try and get the reflection of the computer in the glasses and my eyes. I did that, but you can see at f4.5, that's pretty sharp. Another pure studio shot. f10, so a bunch of flashes are involved with this one. So another self-portrait. Studio shot, there's about 5 flashes and ultra contrasty kind of look. But you see, this lens works amazing in the studio. It's great for portraits, Halloween, dark kind of shot. This, I got an idea to do a composite with this image and that image to form this image. Okay, so this was only illuminated by, what did I have? 4 candles. 1, 2, 1 back here, and 1 over here. I wanted to get a super shallow depth of field, so I focused here at f1.7, and by here the page is blown out. You can't read a thing, which was my objective, because this was just some book that I had. But you can see how things blur out really beautifully with this lens. This was a controlled studio shot, but you get the idea. Outdoor walking around shot, kind of another example of blurred out background. Here was a long exposure. Cat getting a light show. Cat really enjoyed that, by the way. It's another one. Some fine art images. Experimentation. The focal length 50 millimeters is really nice in the studio. You can get pretty close. This was pages of paper. Another one, more pages of paper. And another studio shot. 50 millimeters is a really great focal length for studio work. So let me know if you have any questions. Hope this helps. Bye.